Today on Locked On Rockies, a new look, a new series, and a hypothetical question. If the Rockies were good right now, would it be a golden era of Colorado sports?
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 22nd day of April. I was about to say June, but no, I'm not ready for it to be June quite yet. Don't want to be skipping all this time. And we are here at the end of April, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. And that's what so many of you have been doing. That's why the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section is popping off right now. It's because you Rockies fans are still tuning in, still checking out the team, and still want to hear more. So if you got thoughts on your mind, you got hot takes that you want to fire off, you head on over to the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section and let me know what's on your mind. Today on the show, we're going to talk about the new City Connect jerseys. We're going to talk about 2 week offenses. I think you'll be surprised to hear some of these numbers with the Rockies and the Royals matching up. And after watching last night, and boy, I think they need to put you need to put a heart warning when you're watching 2 of your teams in the playoffs at the same time, playing at the same time, and playing in close games against really good competition at the same time. Because, man, I was just thinking yesterday, the only thing that's missing right now, obviously, of course, other than these 2, the Nuggets and the Avalanche winning it all, is a good Rockies team. I don't know if we've ever seen a point in which all 4 of the major men's Colorado sports teams have all been successful at the same time. We've had the Broncos during times of downtimes of really everyone else. Let's be honest. We've had the Avalanche pick up from time to time. We've had the Nuggets of recently. And of course, we're still dealing with the Rockies. So I'm just curious, and we'll get to that topic here a little bit later in the show today. But just at least while you're listening, while you're thinking, do you think that this would be the best or one of the best eras of Colorado sports if the Rockies were good to go along with the Nuggets, the Avalanche, and this new look Denver Broncos team? I'm just curious if, because I don't know, as someone who just kind of saw a moment in Seattle where the Seahawks were rolling, the Mariners were rolling a couple of years ago, where they were all kind of putting things together when it came to the major sports. The Kraken had a really good debut season. Storm, of course, always good here as well. So it was just kind of on my mind where it's like, man, how crazy would it be? And have we ever seen a moment in Colorado where all 4 of those teams are, I mean, let's not even say, well, I guess the Broncos got to do it again, right? We can't sit here and immediately say everything's all fixed and everything's ready to go with the Broncos, because last year was a surprise and they kind of need to do it again, right? They need to make sure that we're really bought in and convinced here. But anyway, that's kind of I said I wasn't going to talk about it now, and sure enough, I did. Before we get any further today, got to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, you can get $250 in bonus bets. Win your first $5 bet wins. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet with FanDuel, official partner of the NBA. Man, there's such great sports action last night. I saw it was a Denver Sports out there, 104.3. It says, at least it saved us from watching the Rockies. And it sucks. It sucks that that's how we have to joke about it, right? Because it's true, right? I mean, that if you're a Colorado sports fan, did you want to watch the Rockies yesterday? Did you really think the Rockies were, put them on the 3rd screen? I mean, because it's like, how could you not be locked in on what was going on last night and just incredible sports action? Tough night for us Colorado fans, of course, but anyway. The City Connect jerseys. What do we think? What do you think? In the comments, I want to hear what your thoughts. I've seen it, all on Twitter and all that stuff. I've seen plenty of reaction, and I think I'm still kind of in the same boat where I love the colors. I do love the colors. The more I've seen the colors, I'm like, okay, I think that is pretty cool. I think it does closely mimic the sunsets there. I mean, it's kind of hard to translate the sunset, but I think in terms of just the cool colors and everything like that, it works. I really, compared to the hat and the helmet of everything last time, I do like it. I know it's just the biggest disappointment with the hat and and with the shirt logo is they didn't do anything different with the mountains. You can see in the background there, obviously behind me on the classic Rockies mountain thing. And I do like the Rockies mountain with the baseball. I think it's actually a cool look, and I think the half circle look for the Rockies isn't bad. But these are just moments where, when you do these jerseys where, like you did last time, where you made the which I wasn't a huge fan of, the sticker kind of idea with the circle and the CO and everything like that. And they have that on the sleeve there of the patch, but it's fine. The arm patch is definitely not something I'm necessarily, blown away by, but it's an arm patch. It's kind of cool. I like the CO on it. I like the baseball inside the O. I've definitely seen a couple of mock images from people that have made their own kind of versions using that the baseball going in the O of the CO there. But overall, I think the colors, you know what I really do like, though? I like on the pants. I like the simple line with the colors. I think it goes well. I do, and I said this before about the last ones, too. I kind of think you should go all in and go with the colored pants again. I thought the green on green was cool. I thought the green with the white stripe with the was a good look. I think with these, if you maybe did some sort of a bluish purplish pant, that would be really cool. I mean, the kicks that Kyle has that go on with in the promo image. But I definitely will say I like seeing these on the field a little bit more. When I first saw them, it was just kind of like, I again wasn't blown away by the actual design of the jersey, the color, what it symbolized, the small details, the hat, and the accessories they made. All were pretty darn cool. I mean, I think some of the better Rockies merch is what we've seen from some of the accessory side, some of the pullovers and things we've seen from it. I just thought it could have been a little bit more with trying something different with a possible logo redesign. I do think the Rockies are a team that it's hard to change your logo, right? I mean, there's a lot of teams that's been their logo for a long time, and it should. But I just think when you're making these City Connect jerseys, and when you were already willing to kind of make a new logo the first time, it would have been cool to just see the mountain idea, the mountain logo get a little bit more different treatment than let's just change the colors a little bit. However, I think going back, I do think when you see these on the field, they raise the eyebrows. I think people are right in the criticisms of Taco Bell inspired, but I kind of think that leans in a little bit to the Rockies thing. The pullover is pretty cool too. Like, I do wonder like how that might impact anything, if pullovers might become like a more common thing if with these City Connects. Maybe the other teams are going to be interested in it. I think it's the biggest thing is the colors, and I do like what they did with that mountain with the colors there too. It's just kind of, again, it's just a little boring. The actual shirt is just a little boring to me. But I think the colors and the accessories especially are good. But so that's kind of where I'm at. But it was really cool to see him in action, and I again think that it was definitely a situation in which the Rockies had a stellar one the first time. I really ended up liking those license plate jerseys, especially as more and more came out, and the Rockies kind of had this cool look. I do think that this is it's a little different for the Rockies, and it's a different look. And again, is it my favorite jersey ever? No, but I think it's fine. It's cool. I think it's cooler than I thought, and it's cooler to see it on the field. And it's like when everyone's all decked out in the stuff. We saw Spilly in this decked out in the gear as well. So I think it can provide for some cool looks. But to make things look even cooler, you got to back it up on the field. And the Rockies haven't done a lot of that this year. However, I think you're going to be intrigued to hear some of the numbers here about this Royals-Rockies matchup, and we're going to do that coming up next in today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes FanDuel. And, folks, it is a busy, busy, busy time on the sports calendar. Just off the top of my head going on right now, all of the action that's available to you on FanDuel. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, NASCAR, golf, and you can even maybe get ready for potentially maybe look and see what's going on with NFL draft stuff. I mean, there's so much that you can check out and see on the FanDuel app because the NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action right now. When you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you're going to get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking your favorite team or diving into the player props. You know, player props, they're always so enticing, and that's a good way for you to test your knowledge of ball, 3-pointers, steals, assists. If you want to just see and test that knowledge, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. And don't forget, you got baseball action all season long that you can bet on as well if you believe in the Roccos against the Rockies or the Royals, perhaps. Check it all out for yourself at FanDuel.com. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets after placing your first $5 bet today. And if that bet wins, you'll get that $250 in bonus bets. And remember to always play responsibly. Locked On Rockies here, breaking things down for you on this 22nd day of April. Segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies coming your way here. Brief water break there. So I was going through some of the numbers here and looking at, and I was kind of surprised. I know the Royals are a team that kind of ebbs and flows, and I thought a team that was looking to make some noise here. I believe they have been dealing, let's see. Yeah, they got a few injuries to deal with here, but it looks like a lot of people are posed to return from the IL today for the Royals. Same with the Rockies, but I don't think that's the case. There's a lot of people like that are supposed to come off, like for example, Tyler Freeman, Case Williams, Chris Bryant scheduled to come off the IL tomorrow. So we'll see. And of course, Brenton Doyle's listed on this too. I don't really know what that situation is going to be like. I don't necessarily know how you even come close to navigating that. Anyway, I was going through some of the numbers here, and Kansas City, they have not had a great start to the season either. 9-14, so they have been able to get some wins, but lately it has been a bit of a struggle for Kansas City here. Kansas City just snapped a 7-game losing streak. Started off the season a little bit better, kind of going back and forth and really only having a couple of back-to-back losses broken up with wins in between there. So the start of the season a little bit different, but Cleveland, Detroit really handling business. And if you are the Royals, you're sitting here looking, you got Houston, you got Tampa Bay next. So this Colorado series, especially with this being a Colorado series at home, for the Royals, that is, they're again, this is a moment where they are not, they can't be lazy. They can't lackadaisical. They're going to be looking to really turn things around for them here, because a sweep for the Royals doesn't put them above 500, but it puts them 2 games below 500. And depending on how Detroit and Cleveland end up shaking out, that gets them a lot closer into being in the mix of things. But here's something that might surprise you, right? We've talked a lot about the Rockies' offense issues this year, right? As a unit, not just one person, as a unit, as a whole. The Rockies have a better team batting average, have scored more runs, have less hits, only by 7, but have more home runs, a higher OBP, and a higher slugging. The Rockies have a team batting average of 218 with 15 home runs and a 289 OBP and a slugging of 350. Kansas City, on the other hand, got a 210 batting average with 11 home runs, a 278 OBP, and a slugging of 305. So that right there, that's, when you're looking at a possibility for the Rockies to be able to lock in and take advantage of, is this is not a good offense that they're going up and facing right now. This is an offense that is trying to get things going in Kansas City there. So you're going to have to rely on your pitching staff, and that includes both starters and the bullpen here to help get this job done. It's not just going to come down. The Rockies offense is probably, still going to struggle here, but this is still going to be something where the Rockies, when you think about it, when you're kind of there, you're like, that's a little more surprising than I thought. The Rockies here, something road skid. I was like, oh, well, duh. I think the last time the Rockies won on the road was that game in the one game they won in Tampa, right? Everything else has been at home, I believe. When it comes to wins for the Rockies, all 4 of them this year. But anyway, so yeah, those numbers, again, not massive differences, right? Not massive differences in the offense, but you think about how bad the Rockies have been on offense, and then there's a team that statistically has been worse than the Rockies on offense, then that shows that you should be able to do damage against them. You should be able to have your pitchers be able to go out and take advantage of this. But speaking of pitchers, here's the massive difference between these two teams. Here's why the Royals aren't going to be as hamstrung by their weaker offense in this series. Let's just take a look at the massive differences between the team's pitching staffs and the pitching stats here. The Rockies have a team ERA of 5.05, a WHIP of 1.56. They've walked 79 batters compared to striking out 142, and opponents are batting 284 against them. Compared to Kansas City, who's got a 3.62 team ERA, a 1.29 WHIP, walked 77 batters to the 192 strikeouts they have as a staff, and opponents are batting 240 against them. That's the massive difference here. While the offenses might be comparable and have similar stat lines, that's almost 1.4 point difference there in ERA. It's a 0.3-ish differential on WHIP. Walks pretty close, so the Rockies, if they're able to be patient up there, take some professional at bats, might be able to draw a couple of free passes here. But look at this number. 192 strikeouts by the Royals pitching staff, 50 more strikeouts than the Rockies pitching staff. And going up against a team that has a massive strikeout problem, that's going to be the difference there. The difference between these two offenses is that they don't. Let's see if they strike out as much here. Let's get the strikeout leaders here for the Royals. Salvi's got 22. A.G. Melendez has got 20. Vinny Pasquianto's got 17. So they got some guys. So they got double-digit strikeouts. They got a couple of guys in the 20s there when it comes to strikeouts. I'm not seeing stuff that's jumping out at me as crazy. Salvi striking out at a 22% rate is 22 strikeouts, pretty crazy. But I can't imagine, this is a 182, 234, 295 line for Salvi. I don't think that's going to stay. And of course, Bobby Witt Jr., I mean, he's been great. Obviously, didn't he get hurt in spring for a little bit, a little wrist injury, but he's 307, 370, 477, 847. This guy's out here already doing damage here, and certainly is going to be someone we know a whole lot more about. No one on the Royals has more than 2 home runs, though, which is, I think, a little bit interesting. The Rockies, the leader for the Rockies, they have a couple of guys with 3 home runs. So not a massive difference there. But let's go ahead and take a look here when you compare it to the Rockies stats here when it comes to strikeouts on the team and batters that are striking out here. The Rockies have 2 guys in 30 strikeouts. Michael Tully and Ryan McMahon have 35 and 32. No one else has 20, but Hunter Goodman's flirting with it at 19. Sean Bouchard's got 16. Kyle Farmer's got 15. Veen's got 14. And the list goes on and on and on of all these guys basically in double digits. The strikeouts are still going to be, will be the biggest difference maker between these two teams when it comes to the production in this series. 2 offenses that both need to get something going here. with one having a worse strike. I guess it's kind of hard to tell how you look at this, right? Because when I see this on a quick glance, and it's again, it's kind of an immediate look here at the stats and all that jazz. It's not actually fully diving into and kind of seeing. I've not watched enough Royals baseball this year to really understand that how what this team's strikeouts are like, because there's a lot of people in the mid teens that they're in there, but it's the difference between when your leaders of strikeouts and two guys that the Rockies really count on to be middle of their lineup guys, Ryan McMahon and Michael Toglia. They have double-digit more strikeouts than Salvi Perez and MJ Melendez. A huge jump here in that. And Melendez isn't even necessarily an everyday starter. He's only played in 16 games. When you're looking at guys that have played in 20 games here, the consistent starters for the Royals here, their strikeouts are in the teens more often than not. Looks like Salvi's the only player that's played 20 games for the Royals this year that has over 20 strikeouts here. So this doesn't look like a team where the strikeouts are the big problem. When you just look at the team batting averages and such, that's the issue. It's a team that there's only one person that really, two people, I should say, Mikhail Garcia, he's got a 278 batting average. A lot of these other batting lines are just not all that impressive. But we'll see how this team, an offense looking to break out, will handle a Rockies pitching staff and Rockies defense that has been hot and cold. The Rockies need to play good defense in this series as well. They need to go back to using their strengths and seeing what will happen here. But I guess when I was breaking this down, I was a little surprised to see that the Royals, a team that's in a division where it's a weird division, but and kind of a weird team. But a team that's been able to quietly stay in the mix for a lot of the, for good chunks of the season and have a lot of good players here. Certainly a little disappointed with their start to the season and wanting to bounce back against the Rockies. So we'll see how Feltner handles it tonight. I believe he gets the start for the Rockies tonight, taking on the Royals there, and getting ready for a little earlier. So we got Ryan Feltner taking on Chris Bubic here. I hope I'm saying that right, but this is what a start to the season for this guy. 2-1 record here, 1.88 ERA, 1.21 WHIP in 24 innings pitched. He's got 27 strikeouts, 10 more than Ryan Feltner. Both here, had a couple of struggles with the walks. Nine walks for Chris, 10 walks for Feltner. The difference here, Feltner's given up 3 bombs, and Bubic has only given up 1. So there's a lot more similarities. I'm kind of surprised to see how similar these two teams were, and we'll see how it shakes out here with the 3-game set as the Rockies are looking for their first not only road series win, but series win of the year. Let's talk a little bigger picture type of stuff, zoom out a little bit more and kind of talk about Colorado sports in general and play the what if game a little bit. That's coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Welcome back into Locked On Rockies here, finishing up the day here. Just wanted to remind all you folks coming up later this week here, it is going to be a short week here on Locked On Rockies. There will be no new episodes on Thursday and Friday this week. Why? I'm back in Denver, actually, and I'm going for one of my childhood best friends' wedding. I just plainly, simply, honestly, I just will not have time to get the pods off here for you all. So I do apologize for that. We will, break down, of course, the opening game. We'll look ahead to game 2. But when it comes to a series recap here with the Royals and looking ahead to the Reds, that's what's up on the schedule here coming up for the Rockies. We will not have episodes on Tuesday and Friday. Just unfortunately not in the cards, but we'll be back on Monday, rocking and rolling with you all here. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned here, and hopefully, maybe me going back to Colorado will be the catalyst that brings the Rockies all, and I can make it all about myself and take all the credit as a podcaster. The beauties, right? Okay. So I'm curious, and I want to hear, I already asked about in the comments, let me know about what you think about the uniforms. But what do you think about this? If the Rockies were good, playoff good, let's just, we won't sit there and say bona fide World Series champ, right? Like some of these other teams, and maybe you view the Nuggets and the Avalanche in that they should be favorites to win. It hasn't seemed like either of those teams have emerged as favorites. Hockey's kind of weird because I think you can point to a bunch of teams, and you still say that same thing about the Nuggets, but it's been kind of like up and down, and it wasn't like when they were winning the year the way they won the championship, when it was like, yo, they are the best team. Same with like the Avalanche a couple years ago, where it's like, no, you have to beat that team. That's the team. And the only thing that was missing yesterday, as again, we talked about the Rockies being the butt of some jokes yesterday, and even myself cracking up the joke in my mind about, oh, thank goodness we didn't have to watch the Rockies after, just such good sports action. And I was thinking, if the Rockies were good, would this be the best or at least a golden era of Colorado sports? Because again, I'm trying to think of a time when there was this much, when across the four major men's sports, there was this much success for Colorado sports in this time. Obviously, we know the Broncos have only done one season, so it's a little bit different. But as the Nuggets continue to be one of the best teams in the NBA, the Avalanche continue to be one of the best teams in hockey. Both of them have championships in the last 5 years. The Broncos making massive changes, doing big things, surprising the NFL last year, setting up a possibility where the Broncos can make some noise as another team that shouldn't be underestimated. If the Rockies were good, would this be a golden age in Colorado sports? And I think it would. I mean, I think I can't think of a time in my life where it would be. This stupid mic stand is driving me nuts. I'm sorry. I know if you're an audio only listener, you never see this, but I swear if you are in the YouTube audience, you probably just watch me fight this stupid little thing because it just loves to, in the middle of a sentence. That's why I have to dip down sometimes. And I'm always doing this stuff where it just falls over sideways. And I guarantee it's going to happen at least one more time before the episode ends. What I was saying was, I'm trying, and please let me know in the comments too, if the last time in a year where all four of the major teams made the playoffs, because the Rockies will be the only team in their season to not make the playoffs out of all of these teams, out of all the four major Colorado teams. And if that's the standard for Colorado sports, is that all of these teams become perennial playoff contenders, and I think the Avs have kind of established that, right? Are the Avs the most consistent team? Like the team that handles rebuilds and builds up the most, building teams, tear downs. Are they the most consistent with that? Might be an argument for that. But still, I mean, just how cool would that be, man? How cool would it be to have us on the backdrop of a great Nuggets and Avalanche run? You have a Colorado Rockies team that's just building the excitement along the way, right? Because it's the beginning of the season when those playoffs are happening. There's not, you don't want to over focus on baseball. But imagine going from deep playoff runs, championship caliber runs from the Nuggets and Avalanche, and you go right into a Rockies team that's in the mix. Young guys, a roster that's exciting, a roster that hits home runs, a roster that makes people like say, hey, I'm buying into this. I'm interested in what the Rockies are doing here. And then as the Rockies, are in a hypothetical postseason chase, postseason push, or in the postseason, the Denver Broncos are starting the season and they usher in the next layer of success. I mean, for Colorado sports fans to go through a whole calendar year where their teams, where it's not one good team, one bad team, one mediocre team, kind of a weird mix that we've seen for a lot of times, but to just go bam, good, bam, good, bam, good, bam, good, then people can't deny the sports excellence and the sports greatness that has been achieved in Colorado. Colorado can start becoming more of a title-driven place, a place where the playoffs go. But I think the Rockies got a long way to go until we make that dream a reality. But, man, wouldn't that be fun? All the major sports, all in the playoffs, all at the same time. Well, I know it doesn't work that way, but all in the same seasons, all back to back to back would be really, really cool. All right, let me know what you think about the jerseys, and let me know what you think a golden age of Colorado sports would be in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section, because that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us here. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. And folks, until next time, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.